A major loss for Sun Devil football. Star wide receiver Jordan Tyson is out for Saturday's matchup against Houston. A huge loss for potentially wide receiver one in the draft. A lot will look different.
Sun Devil Volleyball has been on fire. The sixth best team in the country saw some of its star players reach career milestones last week. We'll take a closer look at all the record setters.
And ASU hockey has lost 4 of its first 6 games. A cold skid to open the season for the second year in a row. We'll have that and so much more coming up on Cronkite Sports Live. Welcome back into Studio 6 for yet another episode of Cronkite Sports Live. My name is Justin Lacertosa. That's Ryan Myers. Ryan, let's bring it back 7 semesters. You and I were freshmen doing this mock CSL as anchors on this desk. Now we got the suits on. It's the real deal.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We look like little kids in that picture years and years ago, but now we're finally up on the desk together, and I'm super excited to get going with you, Justin.
For sure. I know it's going to be a great show, and I know for the Sun Devils, it was a great weekend playing number 7 Texas Tech at home. The last time ASU beat a top 10 opponent, that man, Brandon Ayuk, was making plays all over the field. And Prince Dorba making a play early, a sack for a loss of 4. Watch him with the celly, flex those biceps on that receiver, and then go to the second quarter. Sam Levitt on his legs. He's going to air it out 45 yards to Jaron Hamilton. That was Hamilton's second big play of the first half. They call that man Turbo for a reason. And now a come-to-Jesus moment. Jesus Gomez with his second field goal of the afternoon. ASU up 6-0, but Will Hammond with the first touchdown of the contest finds Coy Aiken for the touchdown, 30 yards, makes the score 7-6 going into halftime. Boogie Wilson filling in at free safety for Xavier Alford has been playing physical as they come, and then Will Hammond trying to air it out to his receiver. A big hit by Montero Warren, and then Martell Hughes collects the interception. ASU a huge takeaway, offense back on the field, and then receiver Jordan Tyson goes down with his injury, but gets back up, shakes it off, and does what he does best, makes a play, finds the end zone. I have never seen a player fake an injury for a celebration cold from the wide receiver one. But in the fourth quarter, special teams issues all night long for the Sun Devils. That's Aiken once again making a big gain to put Texas Tech in good field position. And then that is Reggie Virgil with the toe tap touchdown to put Texas Tech up 22-19. ASU has been in this situation before. 2-minute drill. Levitt finds Tyson on the run, who takes it for 33 yards on the fourth down. You see him getting up, still a little bit hobbled from that injury before he goes to the sideline. But then Raleek Brown, with some help from his offensive line, gets into the end zone. Sun Devils take the lead 26-22. Look at the Selly, his O-lineman celebrating around him, and the Sun Devils would go on to win by that score. The first top 10 win for Arizona State since 2019. Fans rushed the field for the 3rd time in 2 seasons. Kenny Dillingham's hyped up. He said this win was a breath of fresh air.
And I think anytime you have a win like this, it rejuvenizes your program, especially after the embarrassment of, I'm going to talk about it because I'm still so embarrassed by it, of 2 weeks ago. So anytime you can have a win like this, it can definitely put you in the right direction. But the key is, doesn't make you complacent. You know, the reason we could win this game is because we lost the game prior. We don't win this game if we beat Utah.
Well, after Saturday's win over Texas Tech, ASU won its first game versus a top 10 opponent since 2019. But the blockbuster win did come with the price. On Wednesday, Dillingham announced star wide receiver Jordan Tyson is out for Saturday's game against Houston with a leg injury. So with that, we welcome in WCSN football reporter Dominic Basella. And Dom, without Jordan Tyson, Arizona State is going to have to make up a lion's share of the offensive production. What does that look like? Who are they going to go to, and what does that kind of mean for the team?
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, last year this offense was without Jordan Tyson for a little bit in the Big 12 Championship, in the Peach Bowl, but it's a very different team now. That last year they had Cam Scadaboo. This year it's the Tyson show. Now without him, it's going to look a little different. They're going to have to focus on the ground game, and that starts with running back Raleek Brown. I think he's going to have to explode. He's going to have to do better getting in between the tackles. He's one of those guys, he's explosive. Once he gets outside the tackles, gets past the second level, you can't catch him. That's in the run game, but if you want to look at passing, you have to look at Jaron Hamilton. He's going to be the explosive catcher for ASU. Last week against Texas Tech, he had 3 catches, 101 yards, including a 45-yard bomb. But not every play is going to be like that. You need a short yardage guy, and that's where Derek Eusebio comes into play. He has 15.9 yards a catch. He's almost guaranteed to get you a first down. Pretty sure hands. I think those two combined will help lessen the blow with Tyson being out.
Well, you talk about short yardage, and ASU got their game-winning touchdown on the 1-yard line last week against Texas Tech. But besides that, they've really struggled to put points on the board in and around the red zone, only having 19 touchdowns on the season. That's second worst in the Big 12 Conference. How do they kind of go about making sure their red zone play is as good as the rest of the play on the field?
Yeah, I mean, they only have 14 touchdowns and 31 red zone attempts. That's pretty bad for the Big 12, only 10th, and a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. Ben Coleman, their starting center, is out for the season. Their backup Wade Helton is questionable for tomorrow's game. So I think they need to step up in the offensive line. They need to be able to move guys forward, and that has to do with the run game as well. There's this trio of running backs in Kyson Brown, Kanye Udo, and Raleek Brown that just hasn't been utilized enough due to injury, illness, etc. But Raleek is going to have to step up in a big way. And Kanye is supposed to play Saturday. He's been dealing with some illness, but we'll see what happens there with him as a power back for special teams. Another thing that they like to do in the pass game are screen passes to the tight end, wide receiver, running back. And if we look at the film, they like to run this tight end screen. What they're going to do here, they're in a quads left formation. Cam Hartpool is the furthest back off the line of scrimmage, meaning he's likely going to get the ball. So Sam Levitt is going to take the snap, and instantly he's going to look for Hartpool. He gets the ball, but what's going to happen is that you have 3 wide receivers up top. They're going to go to their man. They're blocking. But the problem with the scheming, you leave this linebacker wide open in the flat. He's going to read it perfectly. Hartpool goes down for a negative gain. ASU has to settle for a field goal on that drive.
And you can see at the very bottom of your screen there, Sam Levitt was very upset after that play. But when they do have issues like that, they have a guy to bail them out. Kicker Jesus Gomez has been phenomenal throughout the course of the season. He just won his 3rd Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Week award over this last week. But Dom, special teams has kind of been an issue for the Sun Devils. They gave up a lot of yards on punt and kick return over this last game against Texas Tech, and it almost cost them. How do they go about changing it up before they play the Cougars?
Yeah, it just starts at that tackling on punt team kickoff. They're just giving up far too many yards. They are last in the Big 12 in net yards per punt. Punter Kenyon Floyd, he's been dealing with a quad injury for a little bit, so that might have something to do with it. But the fact of the matter is they're just giving up far too many yards. They're not tackling well enough, and it's giving up too many explosive plays, which really swings the momentum of a game. Now, if we want to go back to the film, ASU, they're going to punt here against Texas Tech in the 4th quarter. Kenyon Floyd's going to get the punt. And here we go. We have 5 guys in the front, 3 personal protectors, pretty standard for an ASU punt, but Texas Tech is what's to look for. They have 8 guys lined up on the line. They only send 7, but now Texas Tech has a clear 7-on-3 advantage as these 5 guys are going to go down and worry about the punt returner. The problem is too many red jerseys for those 3 white jerseys, and this punt is going to end up getting blocked just because they're outmanned. There's not enough to do. Oliver Miles gets a hand on it, and Texas Tech is able to take this past the 50-yard line back to the line of scrimmage, and it results in a net 0 punt. That leads Texas Tech to score, and then on the very next drive, ASU botches another punt. They give up a score again. Now, instead of a 2-score game for ASU, they're down a score and have to go on a 2-minute drive to win that game.
Special teams, the game within the game, a very underrated part of football. Dom, thank you so much for your insight and time. It's going to be a very interesting game for Arizona State tomorrow against Houston. It's been almost 35 years since ASU last played overseas. It's also been almost 35 years since ASU played against Houston. The teams last faced off in Tokyo and combined for, get this, 107 points. Yes, this was a football game, and for more on the matchup, Tyler Weiss takes us into the vault.
December 2nd, 1990. What was the highest grossing film of the week? Holiday classic Home Alone. But in this Coca-Cola classic, neither the Sun Devils nor their opponent, Houston, were at home. The two teams squared off with 50,000 people in attendance at Japan's Tokyo Dome. At the time, current ASU head coach Kenny Dillingham was about 7 months old. 7 is the same number of losses Coach Larry Marmy's Sun Devils had, along with just 4 wins. Marmy looked distraught on the sidelines as he watched Cougars quarterback David Klinger throw for a single-game record 716 yards, along with 7 touchdowns. Already up 55-45 with less than 2 minutes remaining, Houston decided to show the Sun Devils how much of a hazard receiver Manny Hazard was with the ball in his hands. The Cougars faced a 3rd and 10 at their own 5, but Hazard caught ASU off guard as he and Klinger iced the game with a 95-yard touchdown. ASU scored 45, but what good is that when Houston scores 62? Since Cougars head coach John Jenkins gestured a forks up after the game, there hasn't been any matchups with the Sun Devils for Houston. But that changes Saturday at Mountain America Stadium. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Tyler Weiss.
Thanks so much, Tyler. Been a long time since the Sun Devils last met the Cougars, but the stakes feel just as high. ASU is coming off one of its most complete performances of the season, and with Big 12 title hopes back in sight, the margin for error is slim. And the same could be said for the Cougars as well. They come into Tempe with some momentum of their own under second-year head coach Willie Fritz, and our Keenan Vaughn has the preview of what's to come.
In just 2 weeks, Arizona State went from surrendering over 270 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground against Utah to holding a top 15 rushing offense to only 109 yards for an upset of Texas Tech that puts the Sun Devils back in the driver's seat of Big 12 title contention. However, this weekend sees another challenger to the throne come to Mountain America Stadium in the form of the upstart Houston Cougars. Second-year head coach Willie Fritz has helped the program go from 4-8 the previous season to a current 6-1 start, thanks in large part to new offensive coordinator Slade Nagel's pro-style offense, emphasizing domination of opponents through the ground game. And that's exactly what has helped the duo of junior quarterback Connor Wingman and senior running back Dean Connors combine for 781 yards and 10 touchdowns. On the other side of the ball, the Cougars possess the 31st best defense in the entire country, giving up just 317 yards and 19 points per game on average. In particular, Houston is relentless in putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks to the tune of 17 total sacks from the likes of senior defensive lineman Eddie Walls III and senior defensive back Rook Brown. In many ways, Houston is in the same boat that ASU was a season ago, experiencing a second-year renaissance under a new head coach, and if the Sun Devils aren't careful, the Cougars can show them that it isn't much fun when the tables are turned. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Keenan Vaughn.
Well, Sun Devil Volleyball has had an incredible season, currently ranked number 6 in the nation. And with ASU traveling down to face Arizona tomorrow, we'll bring in WCSN volleyball reporter Andrew Montana for some updates. Andrew, 3 players have recently surpassed career milestones, but let's start with Sydney Henry, who just hit 100 aces and 3,000 career assists.
Yeah, Henry's been amazing this season. In fact, she's tallied at least 1 ace in 7 of her last 8 matches. As for Arizona State, though, it is averaging 1.52 aces per set, while Arizona allows 1.22 aces per set, so maybe she can sneak one in tomorrow, get those numbers up. And as for her assists, Henry mentioned the arsenal around her and how her elite hitters make her job fun and relatively easy, as she's averaging 6.85 assists per set. On the other side of things, Arizona is currently the 3rd worst blocking team in the Big 12, so if Henry can get the ball rolling early, get her killers killing, look out Wildcats.
Yeah, Andrew, it sounds like Henry can add some power, but how about Colby Neal? She's one of the best blockers in the Big 12, and what can she do now that she's passed 300 career blocks?
I would say Colby Neal has not only continued her blocking dominance against the Big 12, it has improved. In fact, she was awarded the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week just 3 days ago. But on the flip side, for Arizona, its star opposite hitter Jordan Wilson is going to be Neal's primary matchup. She is 5th in the Big 12 in kills per set with 4.4, but I do think that Neal's net presence is strong enough to add to her career block count by containing Wilson and the rest of that Wildcat front line.
Well, then let's talk now about Bailey Miller as well. She's hit a great milestone in 1,000 career kills. How can her ability play a factor against Arizona tomorrow?
Bailey Miller's ability to kill the way she does from the backcourt is nothing short of invaluable to this Sun Devils offense. I mean, in company with strong side and weak side hitting, that is some of the best in the Big 12. Her backline hitting just provides a 3rd dimension to this Arizona State hitting line. On the other side of things, Arizona is bottom 4 in Big 12 kills, assists, and hitting percentage, in addition to blocking mistakes that I mentioned earlier. So not only do I think Bailey Miller and company will thrive in Tucson tomorrow, I advise you to expect it.
Veteranship will play a huge part in the contest tomorrow down in Tucson. Andrew, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, absolutely nothing new for JJ Van Neal's squad. Number 6 Sun Devil Volleyball has established itself as one of the best teams in the country yet again, and the success starts up front, leading the Big 12 in blocks per set. The defense has been stifling, to say the least, and our Jaden Ricken gets you a courtside seat to the block party.
This season, ASU has continued to rock the Big 12. And it's no secret why when you look at their commanding presence at the net. Welcome to the Block Party, hosted by Noemi Glover, Ella Lomigora, and Colby Neal. Together, this trio has forged one of the toughest walls for teams to hit against, helping the Sun Devils to average 2.86 blocks per set, which leads the Big 12 and ranks the team 10th overall nationally. Behind the energy of the party is the DJ, Noemi Glover. She's been instrumental on the attack so far with 205 kills, but she's also held it down defensively with 54 blocks, the third most on the team. Her versatility makes her a nightmare for opposing teams, testing their accuracy every time they send the ball her way. Then there's Ella Lomigora, the glue of the festivities. Often underrated, she might not lead the team in kills or blocks, but her consistency is key. Averaging 1.16 per set and 74 on the season, her production would make her a leader on most other conference teams. And of course, at the center of it all, you have the undeniable life of the party, Colby Neal. With 90 total blocks and an average of 1.48 per set, she stands alone atop the Big 12 leaderboard. Since transferring from Oregon before the season, Neal's growth has been phenomenal, nearly doubling her average with the Ducks. Her defining performance came last week against number 19 BYU, when she soared above the net, recording a career-high 10 blocks. This performance propelled the Sun Devils to a 5-set victory and a season-best 16.5 team blocks, earning Neal the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. Riding a 10-match streak, including 7 straight in Big 12 play, the Sun Devils are showing no signs of letting this party stop. They've outblocked their opponents 183 to 130, and their net defense has held teams to just a .172 hitting percentage. Now halfway through year 3 under head coach J.J. Van Niel, this sharpened defensive identity paired with an already electric offense could be the formula for a deep postseason run. For WCSN, I'm Jaden Ricken.
Sun Devil hockey fell to 2-4 last weekend after being swept by Augustana. Greg Powers' team is off to a rough start entering the season, ranked 14th in the nation. So for more on ASU struggles, we welcome in WCSN hockey reporter Jacob Fredericks. And Jacob, the Maroon and Gold scored 4 goals in just 2 games against the Vikings. So what could you tell us about the series and how it reflects their season so far?
Well, Justin, ASU went into Sioux Falls 2-2, coming off a big win in the Icebreaker tournament, but fell to Augustana 4-2 in the series opener and 5-2 in the finale. The Sun Devils went 1 for 10 on the power play, a vast difference from their 5 for 9 performance that won them the Icebreaker tournament. They also gave up 2 goals in the third period in both games over the weekend, adding to the struggles that we saw against Penn State. In the series finale, ASU only managed to get 20 pucks on net. In its 2 wins this season, ASU had 38 and 40 shots on goal. Overall, it was a very disappointing weekend for Arizona State hockey.
Yeah, Jacob, and we've seen this story before. The Sun Devils won just 3 of their first 11 games last season. Are we seeing any similarities from last year's team to this year's?
Yes, absolutely. After 6 games last season, Greg Powers' team found itself in an almost identical situation. After a season-opening win, the Sun Devils lost 4 of their next 5 games, opening with a non-conference record of 1-4-1. That slow start for ASU turned out to have a large impact on the Sun Devils ultimately missing the NCAA tournament, even following a second-place NCHC finish. This season has started similarly for ASU, as it finds itself 2-4 entering conference play. However, it's not all doom and gloom, as ASU will have a big non-conference opportunity against Ohio State in November, which could help its NPI ranking come tournament time.
Well, thank you, Jacob, for your insight. We appreciate your coverage.
Like Jacob told us, it feels like 1 step forward, but 2 steps back for ASU hockey. Despite the inconsistent play, one vet is setting the tone early. Cruz Lucius had a long road back from injury, but has made the most of his time back on the ice, and our Vaughn Olam has more.
Arizona State senior forward Cruz Lucius is bouncing back from injury after shoulder surgery last August. In his first 2 collegiate seasons with Wisconsin, he led the Badgers in points. Lucius comes off a shortened junior year where he tallied only 2 goals and 8 assists through his 19 games. Now, only 6 games through the 2025-26 season, he's ASU's leading scorer with 7 points. He scored a hat trick in the 5-2 Icebreaker Tournament Championship victory versus Alaska Fairbanks. 4 of Lucius's 6 goals have come on the power play, with 1 more scored in the Sun Devils' loss in Game 2 against Augustana this past weekend. In that series, Lucius tallied a point on all but 1 of the Sun Devils' goals. A clear frontrunner on offense, Lucius has taken 32 shots this season, which is 12 more than Cullen Potter, who comes in second. As ASU enters NCHC play in its next series versus Miami, Ohio, Lucius leads the conference in both goals scored and power play goals scored. Though ASU is 2-4 to begin the season, the Sun Devils will look to their star forward to keep up offensive momentum. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Vaughn Ullum.
Record breaker alert from ASU soccer last night. Goalkeeper Pauline Nellis got 8 saves and a program record 25th career clean sheet against Utah. The Sun Devils pulled out a crucial 1-0 win, and WCSN soccer reporter Caleb Harris has a breakdown of the Devils' defensive dominance in 2025.
It's been a familiar story for ASU soccer fans. Just like last year, the team got off to a hot start before fizzling out near the end of the season. After opening the season undefeated through 9 games, the Sun Devils won just 1 of their next 7 outings. In 2024, the undefeated start stretched 7 matches before ASU eventually lost 6 of its final 7. While the situations may look similar, a look at the numbers shows that this squad is much improved from last year. Through its hot start in 2024, the Sun Devils dominated, but against lesser teams. The RPI, a formula that ranks 350 Division I teams, gave ASU's opponents an average ranking of just 238. While performing slightly worse offensively, the Sun Devils' 2025 hot streak showed a stronger defensive performance while facing teams nearly 90 spots higher in average RPI. This year's team also regressed significantly less during the cold streak, showing less decline in every major statistical category. They also faced teams placing around the 60th spot in RPI. The most shocking improvement from last season has been goalkeeper Pauline Nellis. The senior has been dominant her whole career, which is why improving her save percentage 11% from last year's cold streak to this year's has been so impressive. ASU's whole squad will have to keep improving if they want to end their trend of late season slumps, especially with a schedule that doesn't get any easier. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Caleb Harris.
Well, it's been a similar story to last season for ASU soccer. A strong start, but late season stumble. However, the defense and goalkeeping have been the difference this time around, keeping ASU in tournament contention. And with postseason hopes still hanging in the balance, here's Armia Bencic with some Sun Devil bracketology.
So there's just 2 weeks until the women's NCAA soccer tournament begins, and ASU is right on that bubble. 64 teams will make the competition, but with every conference winner getting an auto bid, the Sun Devils either have to win the Big 12 or get roughly into the top 40. With 2 games left in the regular season play, let's see how ASU has to take. The Sun Devils currently sit at number 53 in national rankings and hold a 10-4-3 overall record, with a 3-4-2 mark in Big 12 play. That puts them tied for 8th in the conference, right on the edge of qualifying for that Big 12 tournament. Only 12 of the 16 teams make the conference tournament, which ASU likely needs as extra games to boost their rankings. So, looking at their upcoming schedule, that means Sunday's matchup against number 3 TCU is a must-win. Texas Christian has showed up this season, only losing 1 of their 9 conference games, so making them the first in the Big 12. So their offense has continuously dominated, even scoring 3 goals against number 4 ranked Baylor. Without this win, ASU would likely slip out of Big 12 tournament position and out of NCAA contentions entirely. After TCU, the Devils close the regular season on the road in Tucson against Arizona, who sit at a 2-7 record in conference play currently. The Wildcats have lost 6 games in a row. Though the record might not seem impressive this season, it's been a one-sided rivalry as ASU has lost 9 of the last 10 games against Arizona. So remember, the top 12 teams make the Big 12 tournament. So the Devils are in as of now, but that spot is anything but secure. To put it simply, these final games will be the difference between getting into the Big 12 tournament or packing it up for the year.
Well, ASU women's golf finished in the top 5 of the Stanford Intercollegiate Tournament last weekend. And let's just say patience was the key to their success. but I'll let WCSN golf reporter Joseph Sharina go ahead and explain.
The Stanford Intercollegiate, one of the most prestigious fall golf tournaments, took place last weekend, and by no surprise, Patience Rhodes made headlines. The talented golfer achieved a 5th place result thanks to her 7-under par performance, marking her best showing on the season. The last time Rhodes made the trip down to Palo Alto was during the 2023-2024 season, where she finished tied for 26th. But fast forward to the present, she has a sweet top 5 result to her name. In order to witness the explosive play by Rhodes, it took a little bit of patience. In the first round, she shot even par, which, while it didn't put style points on the score sheet, helped the English native attack the next day. In round 2, Rhodes would go on to tally only 1 bogey, and thanks to her clutch eagle on hole 12, she walked away with a 4-under par result. Rhodes would then go on to close the tournament shooting 3 under par in round 3, thus solidifying herself in 5th place. Rhodes has now finished inside the top 15 in each of the 3 tournaments this season, and she'll be heading to the Aloha State, hoping to keep her hot streak ablaze in the next tournament. For Cronkite Sports, I'm Joseph Sharina.
All right, some news regarding the renovations of Desert Financial Arena. Arizona State will be pouring $100 million into the project with an expected completion date of December 2029. This renovation includes new loge boxes, club-level seating, premium floor seats, a new court, new restrooms, new and upgraded concession offerings, and a new video board with the goal of energizing fan experience.
And we got some top plays over here at number 5, Cameron Scadaboo. We get him on the show every single week at this point. And against the Denver Broncos, Justin's favorite team, Scadaboo's going to get the screen pass, wiggle his way into the end zone, but he's not done yet till he gets one into somebody's skull. Justin, how about that play against your team?
Ryan, let me make it clear who won that game, but in all seriousness, it's good to see Cam Scadaboo lighting it up at the next level. Let's take it to the hardwood. Watch the libero Faith Frame dive for that save, setback to Utah, and then saved by Frame again out of the back, and then just one more for good measure. Utah spikes it to ASU, one more diving save, and then Jillian Neal seals the deal for the score.
On the pitch, Cameron Valadares getting to the byline and whipping a beautiful ball into the box. Sierra Bergen with the header with power. ASU would go on to lose 3-2, however, to the Red Raiders.
And we saw it before. Let's take it back to the gridiron. Will Hammond fires it out. Montana Warren, the mean hit. Martell Hughes collects the pick, his 2nd interception of the season.
And at number 1, we got to show this top play one more time. The little man, Raleek Brown, moving like a big man to get over the line for the game-winning touchdown for Arizona State. He gets up, hits a cool little celly with the offensive lineman too. Sun Devils went on to win 26-22, but that's pretty much all we got for our show today, Justin. There's a fun one tomorrow at Mount America Stadium, ASU versus Houston. That'll be a fun game. We'll both be there. What do you expect from that game?
For sure. I mean, 6-1 Houston, 5-2 Arizona State, going to be a big game in terms of Big 12 title implications. But let's just talk about some self-reflection. Again, 7 semesters. We've grown a lot. You were like 5 foot tall. You're almost at my level now.
Okay.
But it's okay. I had a mullet, so.
You did have a mullet. I don't know which haircut's worse. We'll let the people decide later, though. But that's all we got time for today, unfortunately. For our producer, Ronan Haycoop, our director, Jason Teeter, the entire rest of the Studio 6 crew, that's Justin Lacertosa. I'm Ryan. We'll see you next time on Cronkite Sports Live.